Hey, it's Shauna. Just a human from Los Angeles, here to help you pick up the pieces after your breakup. I just finished running the Santa Monica stairs. Always gives me a moment of clarity, and today I want to talk about a really difficult topic, but one that absolutely needs to be addressed, and that is the topic of breaking the cycle of violence and abuse. When you're in an abusive relationship, be it mental, physical, or emotional, keep in mind that all three are very real, and all three leave very deep scars. Among other things, when you are caught up in a cycle of abuse, a lot of times there's what's called trauma bonding. Now, trauma bonding is basically a manifestation of the Stockholm syndrome, wherein you become essentially addicted to the cycle because the lows from the abuse are so low that you desperately crave those moments of love bombing and of apologies, sincere or otherwise, that follow. And the lowest lows make those highs seem even higher, but they're not real. And as hard as this is to hear, because I really love to talk about the prospects of getting back together with your ex, and in most instances I think that is a very valid and potentially positive situation. In the situation where you are in an abusive cycle, that is not a valid answer. You have to leave. You just have to leave, and you can't look back, no matter how hard it is. And it's hard. It's probably harder than a normal breakup because of this. It's essentially an addiction. So when you're breaking a cycle of domestic abuse, I hate when people say do it out of respect for yourself, because to me that sounds sort of condescending and judgy. And the truth is that no one expects to get caught up in this kind of cycle. A lot of powerful people, a lot of strong people get caught up in the same exact cycle of abuse and sit there and go, how did this happen to me? So I'm going to drop the concept of respecting yourself and replace it with, you need to protect yourself. You cannot allow yourself to be hurt anymore, to be abused, to be diminished, demoralized, physically, mentally, or emotionally broken, because you just can't function in life like that. You just can't. And if you need help, I talked before about having your rock quarry, meaning a whole bunch of rocks, your friends, your family to speak to. But in this situation, yes, you need that. That is your sympathetic ears, your cheerleaders, your team. In an abuse situation, I think what you really need actually is a peer support group, preferably in person, but there's so many resources available online, such as YouTube, such as Facebook, such as Reddit, and the list goes on. Of course, there are actual support group meetings that also occur online if you want that. But I think that in person is so much more effective and so much more powerful. There are a lot of options. You can do like a psychologist enabled group or facilitated group where you have a professional who is leading the peer group. You could have a peer-to-peer group like the online ones that I talked about, but also like al-anon, for example, which is, if you're not familiar with it, a 12-step program for friends and family of alcoholics and addicts. So not the same as AA, but the same concepts. And these kinds of groups are going to teach you how to lovingly detach. And the love is so important. I don't advocate having any sort of hatred, any sort of resentment towards your ex. I believe that you should always wish them the best and wish them nothing but love. But there comes a time when you have to absolutely and unequivocally walk away. Now, the beauty of peer groups is that wherein your rock quarry gives you a sympathetic ear, a peer group is going to give you an empathetic one. You're going to be in a room full of people who not only understand exactly what you've been through, but they've been through it as well. And quite honestly, it will help you to restore your sanity. And among that sanity is the sanity of thinking clearly about your own well-being. The sanity of knowing that nobody deserves to be in an abusive situation, period. And I encourage you strongly when you're in these meetings to speak up and allow yourself to be vulnerable. I know, I really know how hard it is. My first few times in a peer setting, I cried the whole entire meetings, and when I was talking, I don't know if anyone understood a word I said because I was just so hysterically crying. It gets easier. But when you talk and you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're gonna look around the room and you're gonna see a whole group of people who love you and who support you and who you can call upon for help. Now, for some people, peer-to-peer is too scary. It's too uncomfortable. It's too vulnerable. If you're in a truly dangerous situation, then you need to call a domestic help hotline, a domestic abuse hotline, because there are people out there who want to see you alive and thriving, healthy, strong, and safe more than anything. So please, if you are in a cycle of violence or abuse, even when you walk away, even when your mind starts to tell you lies that it wasn't that bad, and maybe if I go back, things are going to be different. Maybe I could fix this. You can't. And that kind of talk is insanity. Please, walk away. Don't look back. Restore your sanity. If I can help in any way, contact me. I'm happy to talk. And I truly and honestly wish you well.